After this episode of solo camping, I have a little bit more respect for Gen here. He's always just been by himself. He really is a recluse. I don't know what word to say. A loner, I guess. But here's the thing, guys. The power of being alone, not being lonely. You know what I'm saying? There's people who are alone. And there's people who are just lonely. If you feel lonely, I just feel as if you're honestly, in a shadow. You're in a dark shadow. You're in a dark rabbit hole that, in my opinion, a lot of people go through. You feel alone. You feel like you need companionship. But here's the reality. Here's the reality of the situation. Pragmatically, we are all alone. No one's ever gonna know how you truly feel. If we were to take two different cases of the same situation, people would have different reactions for each situation, different emotions. But here's the silver lining of being alone. If you've been quote unquote lonely, don't feel lonely, guys. Because, like I said, pragmatically, we are alone in this world. No one's gonna be able to read your mind like Houdini or like Jesus. No one's gonna be able to do that. Okay? But the power of being alone on this earth without any other companionship will help you unlock being grateful. And here's the thing too, guys. In my opinion, the majority of people are not trustworthy. Okay? But being by even yourself, you can't really trust yourself. If you're feeling lonely, then you're feeling the wrong fucking emotions, honestly. I can honestly say I've been alone all my life. Honestly. Alone in my thoughts. And I've been able to grasp many great lessons from it. Like, here's one thing that I've learned through this journey, alright? First of all, I start appreciating the space that I have. If here's the thing, guys. This is just about being alone and being, independent. Not necessarily like, oh, I don't need people. I mean, independent as in you can survive. You can survive out in the world without needing too much attention. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing about being able to be alone by yourself. Alone by yourself with your thoughts without going into a dark place. But then that would just be considered lonely. That's not what we want here, guys. You should not be feeling lonely. And here's the other thing too. If you can master... Damn, did my shit freeze? Yeah, my shit froze. Fuck. Let's put this up here. Fuck it. Fuck it. Alright, let's continue. Fuck it. And just... Shit happens. Shit happens. You just gotta keep going with it, Just keep... Oh, is that my package? Thank you. Appreciate it. It's gotta keep the show going. Even if it's all burning down, keep it going, damn it. But yeah. We don't want lonely people. You just need to be alone. Because we're all alone. No one knows how you're gonna feel. No one knows how you think. No one knows your parameters. No one knows your ups and downs, your negatives and pros, unless you spend a lifetime with them. But even then, if you spend a lifetime with somebody, they still won't know how you feel. They still won't know how you think. They won't know everything about you. So we are truly alone in that sense. But that doesn't mean you should feel lonely. That just means that's the world we live in. That is reality. That is being pragmatic. And that means that you have an awareness of the situation. But there's a lot of good things that come from it. There's a lot of good things that come from it. And honestly, you should just get used to being alone. Not lonely, alone. Because that's where you truly learn more about yourself. You start to realize who you are. Because that's what's important here. Fuck everybody understanding you. How about you understand you? There's a good quote by Alexander the no, this is not a quote. This is what happened. Alexander the Great was able to conquer the world, but wasn't able to conquer himself. It's just sad when you see greats like that. I mean, he's still one of the greats, obviously. It's called Alexander the Great. But that's the thing. We want to conquer ourselves. We want to know ourselves. We want to know our strengths and weaknesses. We want to know what our boundaries are. We want to know how far can I push the limits without me breaking down, without me losing control, without my emotions just going sporadic. So how about you learn more about yourself? Stop trying to have other people understand you. And that is the power of being alone. That's the power of just being on your own. That's the power that I see within Gin. That's the power of solo camping. That's the power of just going out there by yourself in the world, seeing it for what it is. Just one giant group of people who are alone. Because like I said, you can't read their minds. What the fuck? That's why they're called strangers. Stranger danger. Because you have no idea what they're gonna do. You have no idea what they're thinking. You have no idea about their motives, their ideals, their history, their religion. They're good and bad. No, so that, guys, it's so powerful. So you just take a moment and be by yourself. Be all alone. Not lonely, all alone. Take time out of your day. If you're an extrovert, this is especially important. You have people you can talk to. You know how to talk to people. You know how to have friends, how to cooperate with family, how to all these things. You go to a lot of parties, or you're just a big social butterfly. This is especially true for extroverts. But for the introverts, it's incredibly important to realize we have a step above everyone else. We are used to being by ourselves, and we enjoy it. We enjoy being by ourselves. We enjoy just doing whatever we want. We enjoy this and that. But that's where I would say some of the pros and cons step in. You have to learn how to communicate as well. You can't just always be alone on yourself. And that's what Gein's starting to realize. He's like, no, not me. There is no way that I'm actually enjoying somebody else's company. And that's just the funny part. When you're used to yourself, you can finally expand. Because now you can trust more in yourself to know your boundaries, to know your pros and cons, to know your icks, to know your needs. See, now when you master the art of being alone, when you master it, when you come to this realization, you'll finally be able to expand and be less of an introvert. Be less alone, as they say. So there's just so many great things about being alone. Not being alone. I always keep saying it over and over and over again because people put a negative connotation on it. Being alone, being lonely. Yeah, it sounds bad, but that's just connotations, guys. That's just how you twist words with mental gymnastics. But at the end of the day, the word alone is just the word alone. There's nothing negative about it. There's nothing. We just simply put meanings to certain words. But being alone just means that you're by yourself and you truly are in your own head. No one's there with you other than whatever, like those angels. You have the bad angel on the left, the devil angel on the left, then the good angel on the right, the righteous one. Your consciousness. So just you and your consciousness, your subconsciousness. I guess, you're kind of not alone in that sense. But yeah, you master the art of being alone. If you master the art of being alone, you master yourself. That's where it begins. The first step is being by yourself. Go in a quiet room. Talk to yourself. It's weird, but yeah, talking to yourself helps. So once you see all the positives that being alone actually does for you, right here, like Gein, now you are able to expand into the world of these strangers, because now you know how to protect yourself. Now you know. It's just so fantastic once you realize that everyone's alone, but you mastered it. And now you know yourself better than anyone can ever find. And then you work on strengthening your weaknesses because you know where you need to improve. That's the great thing about it, man. Holy shit. You know what you need on, and that's the power of it. And that's the beauty of it. You know, you can start now. You don't have to wait. Everyone starts at a different age. Just look at Geem. You know, he started at what, 34? You know, not everyone starts. Everyone at a different point of their life. Everyone does. So don't make that an excuse. Master the art of being alone.